All right, welcome everybody to the Wednesday afternoon team call. I'm super excited because we're just going to do a Q&A. We're just going to chat a little bit today. But if you guys allow me, I just want to go through a couple announcements. And guys, don't be shy today. I want you guys to ask questions. If you have a question, I can guarantee you that it's probably going to help somebody else on this team as well that has the same question, because we're all dealing with the same things as we build this business. So the first announcement that I want to make is we got 9 days until the end of the month. So if you're working hard towards Success Club, let's get inviting, following up, and doing everything that you can to find a few people to help this month. For those of you that are new, Success Club is, here, let me do something real quick. Success Club is helping 3 people get started with a product on Home Direct. So there's this misconception that I understood that some of my coaches had, that it had to be Shakeology on Home Direct. That used to be the case. You can get Success Club points by having a new customer start with the Beachbody Performance line on Home Direct, Shakeology on Home Direct, or 3 boxes of Beach Bars on Home Direct. All 3 of those carry a 90 personal volume point. So anytime you have a 90 personal volume point product on Home Direct, that is Success Club. 2 Success Club points for a new customer. New changes also that happened over the past year are, if somebody, let's say I start Eric Daniels with, let's say he's a customer. I start him with a challenge pack, and something happens and he falls off the face of the planet, and then I re-engage him a year later or even 6 months later, you are awarded Success Club points again after 6 months. So that's a new change that happened over the past year that we haven't really talked about on team calls. It used to be one you could be awarded Success Club points 1 time per lifetime of a customer cycle. So now it's if they disengage after 6 months, you re-engage them on Home Direct of one of the products, you get Success Club points again, which is awesome because re-engaging someone is just as important as finding somebody that's brand new. So that's one announcement that I wanted to make. The second one is that there's a Super Saturday coming up in October. I know October sounds far away, but so did coming back to school. And now we're at back to school time for many of you guys. So 2 months is going to fly by. So make sure you plan on attending Super Saturday. And also the next big announcement is make sure that you are planning to come to Coach Summit in Indianapolis in July of 2019. Almost every time that I interview a successful coach that comes on and teaches our team, or you listen to a National Wake Up Call, they say, Summit was the difference maker for me. The National Wake Up Call that we watched on Monday, by the way, every Monday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, Beachbody Corporate does a National Wake Up Call, which is similar to our team training, but it's company-wide. They find a successful leader. They come share their story and teach us. Her story, her sister brought her into this business, and her sister is a very successful 6-figure earning elite coach. Brought her sister in, and this girl, she was just kind of casually doing the business, and she went to Summit only to meet Shaun T. That was the only reason. She had this desire to meet Shaun T. She watched Christina Delgado and Becky, if you guys know who they are. They're both $1 million earners, elite coaches. They're sisters. Watched them on stage, and she looked at her sister and said, that could be you and me. And then just that one moment at Summit, and now she's an elite coach and teaching on the National Wake Up Call. And that happened because she went to Summit and had that moment. So just shows you how important Summit is. Almost every coach that you listen to that has built success blames part of that success on being at Summit as well. So plan on going. The one thing about setting goals is, and I'm just going to address things head on from what I've heard, because I bring on coaches, I mentor them. I can't afford Summit. I don't think I'll be able to go. Here's the thing. We have like 11 months for you to build a business and buy your plane ticket, buy your Summit ticket, buy your hotel, or share your hotel with somebody else. So don't base what you can do next year on what has happened in your past or what is happening just today. Know that anything and everything is possible as you work forward in the future. Okay? Does that make sense? So if you have questions, write me personally. That's what I'm here for. I can help you make a plan on how to earn that money. I recently taught in my personally sponsored coach page how I set a goal coming out of Summit to beat my best with the Success Club promotion that they did. And I average 15 Success Club points a month in my business, 5 for Gabby. That's my average for like 7.5 years. And I set the goal to beat my best, which was I needed to beat 32. I needed to beat it by 10. So I needed 42. I set that goal and hit Success Club 52 last month. So no, if I would have based the goal of going after that month on my past experiences, it wouldn't have been possible. But know that anything is possible in the future if you set the goal and work towards it and ask people what they're doing to achieve those type of goals and those numbers. So with that being said, what I earned alone just from not a team aspect from what I built in the past 7.5 years, but from just that month alone, starting those challengers and those coaches on the Lift 4 test group and hitting Success Club 52 in my business and 8 in Gabby's, that paid for Gabby's and my entire summit trip alone in 1 month. Okay? Like the math of that, the commissions from those challenge packs and the next month, their reorders, those that did reorder, paid for 2 plane tickets, a hotel for 6 nights versus the only 3 nights that you need, and both of our summit tickets. So there's a little breathing of belief into you that you can do it in 11 months if that's been a concern of yours. So with that being said, guys, that's all the announcements I have. So I just want to open it up to you guys. Everybody's muted right now, but just unmute yourself and let's answer some questions. Let's help you guys with whatever you're dealing with right now. I'll sit here quietly. I'm going to wait.
Hi, Scotty. This is Annabelle.
Hi, Annabelle.
My coach is Brigida. I love her to death.
Yes.
And I just wanted to share that because she knows you too. So one thing I'm struggling with right now is generating more leads without doing like cold calls or cold messages.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still trucking along, but if there's any extra tips that I haven't thought of, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask you a couple questions first? What are you doing right now to create leads?
Right now, I have been trying to build my Instagram and Facebook contacts just by posting and sharing and sort of searching for people, engaging with them, just liking their posts and commenting. And also reaching out to some of my old classmates and seeing if it's something that they're maybe interested in. Okay. You know, sort of looking at my warm market at this point.
Awesome. So building Facebook and Instagram, building your number of followers and friends.
Yeah.
So more people have seen your message. And number 2, reaching out to warm market, old friends and whatnot. So those are both key things that you need to be doing. So you're doing that right. Just, can you help me understand how many, do you know how many new contacts you're getting on Instagram, for example, in a month? Are you tracking that?
I'm tracking weekly. I actually just started tracking last week. I'm very new. I've only been here like a month or something. Awesome. So my goal is to find about 25 new people to follow that I can kind of have something in common with a day. So 25 a day is what I'm doing.
So I love that. I thought you were going to say I thought you were going to say 25 a month, and I was going to say, Annabelle, girl, I do 25 a day. So, yeah, no. so you're doing what I'm doing per day. Okay. On Instagram that's my goal. One thing I want to ask, you're following them. Are they getting some sort of message from you or contact from you or a hello?
Some of them are.
Okay.
The private accounts aren't, which I'd say at least 2/3 of them are private accounts.
Yeah, until they follow back.
Yeah. And then once I see that they followed me back, then I'll like their pictures and comment if I think of something and just try to get to know them a little bit.
Okay, awesome. So you're brand new, only a month in. You're doing awesome with that, doing the right steps. The one thing that I want you to know, and anybody on here, once you start doing these steps, so you guys hear Annabelle is starting like following or gaining her following by a goal of 25 new people a day. So I want you to recognize that number. That's something that I'm doing as well. In the beginning, I had to do everything just like you're doing. I did it manually. I did it that myself. I searched for the people. I found them, like their photos, comment on their photos, just like you are. Send a private message, just introducing myself. I want you to know, Annabelle, and everybody on here right now, I have that system automated, and it's I do it for $40 a month with a program on Instagram. So if you guys are interested in knowing how to do that, I trained my personally sponsored coaches on that system I'm using. I went through a whole training on how I'm growing my Instagram in that manner, following people, sending them messages, and so that I can do 25 a day, and it does it automatically. Okay. So, and it cost me $40 a month, which is pretty awesome, I think, because if you're doing that and you do 25 start 25 conversations a day, over the month, you have a lot of conversations going. And so if you can get one of those, let's say you can get 3 of those people on a phone call and you close one of them for your challenge pack, it pays for that process, right? It pays because you get a $50 commission on a Beachbody On Demand Shakeology challenge pack. Yep. So let me actually, Annabelle, I'm going to share that with you or everybody in the chat link. It's a private training I did just for my personally sponsored coaches. And I have it on my YouTube channel as an unlisted video. Okay. So you guys can watch this, but you can share it with anybody inside of your own teams as you build your team, but don't do it public this is just for our team. But one thing that video talks about, I put it in the chat thread so you guys can save that and have a to-do list. It's an hour-long training, but the thing about it is it teaches how I brand my Instagram, what the description on my Instagram says, what the links direct to, how to create, it goes through everything from how to create a form for people to fill out, to give you their phone number and their email. It goes through the program that follows people for me, and it starts 25 messages a day. If they respond, it gives you in that training a video, like a template video of what a challenge group looks like that you can use, and you can edit it at the end and put on your own 30-second to 45-second invite saying, hey, my name is Annabelle. If you're, whatever, just a 30-second invite, click the link to this form. And then from there, like the training goes through everything. This is what I say. These are the questions I ask on a phone call. This is how I close the phone call. This is how I follow up with all the phone calls. And so watch that video. If you watch it, there's going to be a lot of things to set up. So just take it one step at a time. Don't be overwhelmed and be like, oh my gosh, I got to set all this up. Just over the course of a month, one thing a week maybe, or twice a week, just set up one of those things in that video through a checklist, and that'll help. That's the way that I'm expanding my network. Almost all of my people from the 56 Success Club points I had in July came through that exact process I teach in that video of how the Instagram works. And basically it's doing what you're doing, but it's doing it automated so that I can just focus on the things that I love. Because I honestly don't love spending hours like searching for people. So this basically does all of that for you, starts the conversation.
Yeah, I set my 15-minute time limit.
Yeah. And so this will do it for you all the time. So it helps, like it grew my Instagram in 4 months from like 8,500 followers. I think we just broke 14,000. And I've never went and followed someone intentionally. And it's following, you'll have to watch the training, but it'll teach you, it follows your ideal type of person.
Okay.
How you do the setting. So
awesome. Thank you.
So that's how I'm expanding my network. That was your question, right? How are you expand and meet new people? So that's what I'm doing. The things I teach in that as well, teach you like how to write your post to attract your right type of person, what your link looks like, to not give them all these options. So it's just one option to give you their email and their phone number, and then everything, how to call them, how to follow up with them, and so forth. So watch that. It'll help you. It's an hour and a half long, so it would take more than this call to explain the whole thing. So hope that helps you. That's a great question. Anybody else have any questions? Don't be afraid.
I have a quick one.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Shanti.
Hey, Shanti.
How are you?
What is it, Gomez, right? Shanti?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I got
Regina
it.
Lifford's my coach too. So,
Yes.
and now Scotty, I had watched one of your videos a while back about your new coach sneak peek. And I was really curious on getting my hands on that information to try to do that, because I've been wanting to do coach sneak peeks, but I just feel like I have no idea what to do. Regina sent over her information. I'm just like, it's like all kind of old information, you know, and I'm like, how do I update this? And yours sounded really exciting. So I wanted to know more about that.
Is it the one we did a week ago?
I'm not sure. It was a while, I would say a few months back. You guys were doing like where they would get on Beachbody On Demand to try that out. And so it was probably a few months ago. But if you have something even newer, that's great too, whatever.
Yeah. So this is the lesson for everybody. We're always being like to build success and to build excitement and to continue to move forward. We always need to be innovative.
Yes.
Right. And so like I was doing sneak peeks in a certain type of way. And it was just too drawn out. People's attention span, you guys have noticed, is getting shorter and shorter.
True.
Like I used to write a post, like I would spend like 45, I loved doing it, teaching. Like I would write a story and teach something, and it was super long. And nobody reads those anymore. A very select few people.
Right.
Like my post yesterday, like I get like 200 likes or so on Instagram, like because I'm new to it. Like I did one, it was just like a quote, "Parenthood is the scariest hood you'll ever go through." And it's got like 600 likes. And it's like, it's not some deep thought. Like people's like their attention span is much shorter.
Right.
So we have compacted, basically what I did to show you guys what I do is I asked even downline coaches in Jennifer Greenberg's downline that are 3-star downline, what are you guys doing to recruit and introduce people to the business? And they taught us what they're doing in what's called a coach open house. So we did one, and I'll send you the template for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
We sucked at it. We did it totally wrong. Like
his elbow hurts.
Let me mute real quick because we got.
You should have listened to me, and she's like, "Shut up."
Oh,
we'll mute. So, we did a coach open house. We called it. 7 of us were doing live videos inside of an event. And so I have a template on how to set that up and the topics. Half of them went in the event, half of them went on the coach's timeline. So we totally like messed it up. And our prospects were like, "Hey, I didn't see all the videos." And like, it's not a failure, right? So just understand that we face those things. All of you guys are new. Don't be afraid to try something and think it's not going to be perfect. And that we're always learning. But what we did is I just gathered all the videos later and made one video out of it. But Shanti, let me grab that template. Might take me just a second to find. And I'll just post it in the link of the comments below. Basically what it is I'm a horrible multitasker, just so that you know. Basically what it is like we address the objections that most people have with 6 different coach stories. And let me just talk about this instead of look, and then I'll find it. We addressed objections of like 6, like I don't have enough time. I'm too busy at home, or I'm not at my goal weight. We have just addressed all the objections that most people have by having 6 different coaches tell their story, and they are that person. And it was super powerful. So let me send it over to you. You guys think up your questions, write them in the chat box. I'm not going to talk because I can't multitask, and I'll find that template for you real quick. Okay, here it is. And I'll just copy it into, I just have it on my Google Docs. By the way, if you're new or you're trouble, I'm not the most organized person. Google Docs and notes save my life and save so much time. I just save everything into there. So if you look in the chat box, I put a Google Doc of how to run the sneak peek. Basically, all I did is talk to the coach that taught me this. Her name is Michelle Harris. She's on our team. She's a former teacher, now does this full time. She just talked me through what they did and sent me this like template. I edited the template, we picked coaches from our team that addressed those things, and we did it, and we did it wrong. I missed some things that she taught us. So if you do that and follow that idea on the Google Doc, we did live videos inside the event. The best thing is make a Zoom link like we do for this team call, put it in the description of the event, and do the 6 stories or the 7 stories on a Zoom link versus everybody doing it live. Then everybody's not jumping from one live video to the next in the event. They're just on a like this, and we pass it from, it'd be like I share, and then Lindsay shares, and then Hannah shares, and then Eric shares, and so on and so forth like that. So there's a template on that. And just so you guys know, we're in the process right now of coming up with a marketing calendar. I know some of you guys have downlines that already do this, but if you're my personally sponsored coach, we're going to have a marketing calendar for September on when the coach sneak peek is, when to train new coaches and whatnot. And I'll put that up before September 1st. So just know and be aware in the team page, we're going to be sharing about that. And I will be asking for you guys to help with that. Last time, like half of the coaches were all full-time coaches that led. I want more coaches that do this as a part-time gig and don't do this full-time yet, because that's more believable for the prospect than 5 or 6 of us that do this full-time. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm doing, Shanti. So does that help? Okay, Shanti says, do you recommend doing coach sneak peeks on Facebook or in a challenge tracker? I say in an event page on Facebook, a public event. So then you and your coaches and your team can be inviting your prospects to that event. What you can do in that event, like the week prior, is put transformation photos in there, a written out post of your story so they can start to get intrigued by the stories and the transformations. And then if they hop on live, then they can watch the video with you live on Zoom. And the cool thing too is if you can get them to just click join. What I did is, they're like, oh, sorry, I'm busy at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, I can't come. I tell them, hey, just click join. And what will happen is if you've clicked join to go into the event, you can come back and watch and read everything inside of the event afterwards. But if you don't click join, I can't add you in after the event ends. So at least that way they can come in and creep around and look at stuff afterwards and continue to educate themselves. So for those of you that are newer, I think, because we're talking about inviting people to a coach sneak peek, to a coach opportunity, it takes somebody on average 7 times exposure, 7 times to your business, your opportunity or your product before they're even open to listening. Okay. That's not like 7 times before they say yes. It's 7 times before they ever are even open to saying, okay, talk to me about this. How does it work? So that's why educating, one thing that I'm doing for a coach opportunity, Shanti, to add on to this coach opportunity type of question that we're answering right now, is I posted in my team page the other day, what are the objections you're getting to the coach opportunity? Because what I'm going to do is over I'm going to work on making it more of a habit. That's something I always do, is addressing, and I got it from the national, if you're wondering why is Scotty going to do this, I got it from the National Wake Up Call on Monday. She's like, some people are hot leads and they're like ready right away. The rest of them are skeptics. So she talked about how she addresses the objections. She addresses what the skeptics are thinking without them asking. So I asked for objections that my coaches are getting so that I can address the skeptics on my social media posts. I'll do it through my own experience, being a skeptic prior about Shakeology, being a skeptic to coaching because I was too busy, being a skeptic to coaching because I have a horrible past, and all of these different things. So I'm going to work on addressing those types of things on my social media posts. And it got, as I listened to that National Wake Up Call, I listened to it twice. I was thinking about my top producing coaches, and half of you guys are on Brigida's downline. Brigida used to come to my blog and my Facebook page and read every single post. And do you know what I did back in 2011 that I was realizing? Is I talked about Shakeology. I spotlighted the ingredients and taught people the health and medical type benefits of every ingredient that Shakeology has. And so her, being a skeptic that she was and not wanting to reach out to me privately or like any of my posts because she didn't want to look like a stalker, she read every single one of those posts until she was educated, exposed more than 7 times to why Shakeology was so important, why this Scotty guy was so passionate about drinking his shake. And it came through educating through social media posts about the benefits of it. It's not just, she read what each ingredient did, 15 different health benefits from one ingredient over and over and over and over. So she was continually educated through my social media posts. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm going to do with the Coach Opportunity, is just address all of those objections in my posts. Okay, so I'm going to read the questions are coming in. I like this. No one likes awkward silence, right? Okay. So what is your opinion on setting up a display, product, and business opportunity at various events and exposure for recruitment? Eric, that's a great question. I probably did 3, what do you call those, like trade show type things where you set up a table in my first year. Brigitte and I did one together. She was about 2 months in. We set up a table and we had like a slideshow of transformations on my laptop, Shakeology bag, Energize, or E&E at the time, all of the products that we had. And we had a notebook. It worked good. We met some people, but I think there are, if you're a very personal, in-person, personable person, that's a lot of repeating of personable words. If you're really good with people and you can make a connection fast with people, like having the display will be great. We had like a sign-up sheet, your name, your phone number, and you're interested, because we were running a local fit club. I'm interested in fit club, a fitness group, nutrition. Like we had them check off and write their name. That was good. But you've got to be, the magic of it is going to happen in that 3 to 5 minute conversation you have with them at that table where they're like, I like this guy. Eric is a good guy. I want to be connected with him. Like if they just see your products on a table, it's not going to really do anything. They're just going to be like, another one of these people selling a product. And they'll walk right past and grab anything free you have off the table. Right? So it will work if you are that person that just connects, if you can connect with people and make that intention. So that's what worked well for us is like, that's when someone will pick it up and ask questions. So you can't just sit there and hope the table display works well. If you're willing to connect with the people one-on-one, it's going to work really well for you, because it's going to be more personable than the Instagram thing, for example. Instagram will help you meet people from all over the country and world and help you do that while you sleep in some ways. But you're going to make a faster impact in that way. Like if I think about my strongest coaches right now, my strongest leaders, they hit Success Club. They're Success Club legends. They hit Success Club more than 24 months in a row. I know I've met them in person. Like I've met them in person. Even if I met them on social media first, I've met them in person, and we've had that person-to-person connection at a team retreat or at Summit or at Super Saturday. It just triggers me right now to share something with you, because I had a discussion with one of my leaders about, I'm leading this team and not many are doing things, like doing as much work as I am, and it's frustrating. And we identified the people that are doing something, that are working hard. I was like, you need to pour your time and energy into that person and develop them into like how you are. And now you're going to have 2 of you that are passionate, and there's going to be more belief in the team and more people will rise up. It's just how it works. But if you try to drag 40 people at once, it's going to be a little bit draining. So develop those that are working hard, and as they rise up, others will rise with them and with you. And I was like, man, how was my first year? And guys, I went diamond in 90 days. I didn't go 1-star until 14 months. Okay. So I had a gap of almost a year where I didn't go diamond, but I had a couple coaches I sponsored 50 coaches in my first year, 52 to be exact. And 2 of them were working really hard. And then some of them were working somewhat hard. And then the rest were just kind of discount and enjoyed the community. Well, I had the husband of one of these coaches call me and say, hey, I know you're this, I'm not going to say her name because I'm surprised you guys later. She's like, she's working really hard. She's making some progress. It's her birthday and we're going to throw a surprise birthday party. Can you come to her birthday party? Now she lives about 4 hours away on a plane and 2 plane flights away. And I'm in my first year and I tell him immediately, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't go. Okay. And then I sit there thinking, I'm like, oh, wait, this is my hardest working coach. They're not hitting Success Club yet, but they've recruited, 5 or 6 coaches over the year. They're building, they're on every team call. They're asking me questions. They're always learning. They're always growing. And I talked to Gabby and we talked about, I was like, this is my hardest working coach. Like I'm building this business. Like we need to help develop somebody. I think this will really be important. And she let me go. And so I flew to Knoxville, Tennessee. I went from Idaho Falls to Salt Lake because I couldn't afford the flight, flew into Atlanta and got a ride with one of my other coaches from Atlanta to Knoxville, 5 hours. And we surprised Jennifer Greenberg for her birthday. And guys, Jennifer Greenberg went on to, because she wasn't at the time, at her 18th month, started hitting Success Club every single month. She went to Diamond. She was my first Diamond. She went to hitting Success Club every month at her 18-month mark, hit Success Club 5 every month for the year following, and went to 5-star Diamond the year following, and then said, hey, Scotty, what do I do next? Like I'm 5-star, I hit Success Club every month. I don't know what to do. Like, how can I do better? And I was like, you need to do more yourself. Hit Success Club 10. And she's like, I've never done that before. And I was like, it's because you've never decided to do that before. And I was like, you want to lead your team better? You've got to do better. And guess what happened from that month on? She hit Success Club 10 every single month and went on to hit Elite 3 times in a row and hit the Million Club. So I share that small tidbit of advice because that small I'm not saying you need to fly across the country and support a team or support a coach, but look for, as you're developing your team, the people around you that are doing stuff and pour extra energy and effort and time into that person. Another quick advice, and we'll get on to these questions, is one thing about our business is, because a lot of you guys around here, yes, some of you guys want to advance your rank, but I know a lot, looking at the face on here, need to build an income for your family, to pay off some debt, to work less overtime hours, to not commute to a job, to spend more time with your spouse and your kids. I want you guys to understand about my business. We hit a 6-figure income, which is $2,000 a week with Beachbody, right at the same time we went to 1-star Diamond. So we were making $2,000 a week basically as a Diamond coach. Okay. And how did that happen if I don't have any other Diamonds on my team, any other Diamond coaches, if I'm not advancing to 1-star, 2-star, 3-star? It's because I literally would check in once a week to my volume, more like once a day in the very beginning. And if I saw, let's say I'm looking at you, Felicia, and I saw Felicia has 180 volume points, I'm like, oh, shoot. She's done something more than have her own Shakeology home direct order. Like she's doing something. And so I would reach out to Felicia personally, even if Felicia wasn't my coach, right? Felicia's a downline coach. And I'll attribute, and this is a shout out to Caitlin Lesk, if any of you guys know who she is. Caitlin is 3 levels under Jennifer, 4 levels under me. Okay. Caitlin Lesk is the first coach on our team to hit Success Club 10 consistently, other than myself, in that first year. Because Jennifer brought on a coach named Nicole. Nicole brought on Caitlin. And when I'm checking my volume, all of a sudden there's this girl with 500 volume points, 600 volume points, Success Club 10. I called her and did a getting started right call with her, even though she was 4 levels deep, and just planted the vision of building her business, what she wanted to do. And what did she do? She brought on other coaches that hit Success Club 10. She brought on other people who are just like her, and our volume grew to build a 6-figure income by mentoring coaches that were levels deep. So if I could have spent the first year on trying to drag my 53 coaches that weren't working as hard as me, like I encouraged them, I taught them, I trained them, and they went at their own pace. But one person who brought on somebody that was strong, and I poured into that person and helped develop that person. Does that make sense? A lot of times, if we don't teach these things, you don't understand, like, okay, how do I build this volume, or how do I build this income in this team like we have? So I hope that helps out. I'm going to read back up to these questions here. We got Jared, I think, asking, yep. Is helping 3 people a month equivalent to 6 points or 9 points? 6 points, Felicia answered. Thank you, Felicia. Okay, Laura says, I'm very new to all of this. How should I get started with the business end of it? So this is a great question. I was helping one of my new coaches recruit a coach that's a friend of her that said, hey, like, that's exciting and all, but I'm just not a business person. Like, I don't think this Beachbody business, I'm not a business person, so I don't think I can do this. This business is it's difficult and challenging and hard because we're working with someone transforming their life. And transforming your life is hard. Like changing our own life is hard. So transforming other people's life and helping other people is hard. So you have to understand that. But the concept of this business is very simple. So if your question is, how do I get started with the business end of this? It's important that you understand the business. How do you get paid? How do you maximize the compensation plan? What are my products? How do I market? All of these things are going to be important to your business, and you should learn them. So if there's something you don't know, set aside time every week to learn something new so you can gain competence in your business. When you gain competence in your business, you're more confident in your invites. If you're competent in your business and how it works, you're more confident in your invites. Because in all reality, when you're inviting somebody to your challenge group or to this business, the person who is more certain and more sure is going to influence the person who is less certain or sure. Does that make sense? If I'm more certain, if I'm having a conversation with Felicia, if I'm more certain and sure that this business works than she is certain or sure that this business doesn't work, I'm going to have influence over her if I'm more certain and sure. So gaining competence by learning all the ins and outs and taking time to learn it is going to build your confidence in your inviting and your confidence in everything you do. Now, how do I get started with the business end of it? You find somebody. You find out what their goals are, what they want to accomplish with their health and fitness, and also their financial goals if they want to be a coach. And you offer them a solution, and you give them the tools, and you support them. That's how you start. Just as simple as that. Okay, I know that sounds too simple to be true, but this is how this business works. I'm going to simplify it. There's everything. You're going to watch that training video on how to use Instagram. There's a lot of different tools. But here's the thing, that might not work in 2 years. Everybody may be off Instagram and on something else, right? So those are processes to work this business. Those are all processes. So what are the principles? The principles are going to remain true throughout time. The principles to building a business. It's going to be the same principles for Walmart to build what they've built. It's going to be the same principles for what Starbucks did to build their business. Okay? So here's the principles of Beachbody and building Beachbody business. I'm not going to go over the 4 vital behaviors, but write that down. That's those are 4 principles that are going to always remain true. Doing personal development, inviting people. Inviting people is the #1 income producing opportunity. Because if you invite somebody, you find out their goals, you give them the solution, they purchase the product, you make money. That's how a business works. Walmart makes money when I go in to buy a loaf of bread and there's like great marketing on something there that I could use, and I purchase that and I give them money, their business grows. So the same thing is going to ring true to your business. Inviting is the #1 income producing activity. The only thing is that the inviting aspect is going to continually change, like how to market to someone, how to catch someone's attention. That's going to continually change throughout time, so be understanding of that. But here's how the business works. Keep it simple. The business works like this. You transform yourself, which is like two of the vital behaviors, personal development and proof the products work. You transform yourself. You are a walking billboard. You are a walking marketing product of your business because of the way that you are transforming and continuing to transform. That covers two vital behaviors. That's the number one thing. Someone says, oh, wow, Felicia is happier than I am, or she's doing something that is creating progress in her life, happiness in her life, growth in her life. I need that. So the next step comes, you have a conversation with this person. This is sales. A lot of people avoid the word sales, but to build a business, you have to sell a product. Yes, you share it, they buy it. You make it's still call it sharing or selling. It's the same thing. You then sell a product to someone that's going to help them accomplish the goals that they have. And now with this business, it's either you help them transform their life mentally and physically through exercise and nutrition. Okay? Or you give them this business opportunity that helps them transform their finances by giving them an opportunity to work from home, to help people, to earn commissions without leaving the house, right? So you give them the tools for that. But you give them the coach opportunity through signing them up as a coach with a challenge pack, or you give them just a challenge pack as a customer to help them with their health and fitness and their mindset. Their mindset's going to change and their confidence is going to change with good health and good fitness. So that's a step. Transform yourself, give somebody else the tools to transform themselves, and support that person in the journey. Here's the cool thing. Team Beachbody trains the coaches. Basically, if any coach plugs into the Team Beachbody 411 coach page, you basically don't even need a team page. I love the team aspect and that we can train each other and teach each other, but anybody can build this business without an upline coach. My last phone call with Lindsay Matway was probably 5 years ago. Okay? I learned from Carl Deichler, I learned from the National Wake Up Calls, and I learned through the books that I'm reading every single day on how to run a business. So we give them the tools. We give them this platform called Beachbody Coaching, how they can build this business, right? And the cool thing and the bonus is we do have team calls. We do have team support. We do run sneak peeks together, and that's all a bonus and an added aspect to that. So that's the third part of the business. We give people the tools and the support and the accountability to build their business or transform their life through health and fitness. The fourth aspect, which is the final aspect, and then we've covered how to build this business. The fourth aspect is once someone has transformed their life with health and fitness, or they've become a coach because they've already worked on transforming their life with health and fitness, the fourth part of building this business is then teaching them how to do to other people what you did to them. Does that make sense? So we're just going to recap that again, because that's what I do every day for 7.5 years. I continually transform myself. I market myself, which helps me attract and find people, which is part of the invite process. So that first step is the first two vital behaviors: personal development and being proof the products work. Transforming myself. Then I market myself. I reach out to people. I invite people. People come to me. People refer other people to me. And then I can make a connection with them. That's the invite process. That's the third vital behavior. Now I'm inviting them to a challenge group, to the coach opportunity, to the financial opportunity of becoming a coach. I give them the tools. I sell them a challenge pack, or I sign them up as a coach. Okay? And I support them through their fitness journey or through their journey as a coach. Okay? So I support them. Okay? And that's kind of like the fourth vital behavior, which is recognition. I'm supporting them, encouraging, recognizing them in their transformation, in their fitness transformation, or in the building of their business. The fourth step, it's like 4 vital behaviors and 4 steps. Now the fourth step to building a business, or the business end of it, is then teach that person how to do what you did to them. So I'm looking at Ashlyn Hall here, or let's say Jared. I'm just looking at they're the first two I see on my screen. They're my personally sponsored coaches. Jared and Ashlyn. Ashlyn was in an 80-day obsession challenge group with me. Jared was in a Lift 4 test group with me. They fall in love with the products. They have great transformations. And then I say, hey, you should become a coach. or they ask me, how do I do that coach thing? I sign them up as a coach. And so I'm done with 3 steps of the business right there. Now the 4th step of the business is now teaching Ashlyn and teaching Jared how to do to other people what I did to them. How to find people, how to get them into a challenge group, help them get results, and then transition them into a coach. That's the whole business model. And you just keep repeating and repeating and repeating that concept. There's a lot of other things you can learn, like I talked about, like gaining your competence. You should learn how to coach your place your coach your places. Learn how to place your coaches to maximize the compensation plan. You should learn all of those things and spend an hour a week learning those things. But start with the basics. If you're brand new, the basics to start, how do I build this business? Find somebody, find out their goals, sell them a challenge pack, help them get results. That's how you start the business. Start with that. And that's a great way to start. So let me go back and look in the questions here. Okay. Let's see. I'm getting objections like price and need to speak with spouse advice. I made my first post about a week and a half ago and had 8 interested until the price and commitment level came up. So I'm going to ask you a question, Jared, if you can unmute. I'll unmute you. Jared, when did the price were you messaging back and forth? When did this objection of price and commitment level come up?
I spoke with 3 of them on the phone.
So 3 of the, how many? 8 on the phone?
Yeah. And the others I haven't been able to connect to. I haven't had a conversation with the others yet.
Okay. So a price objection came up, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not just that, but just the overall commitment level of working out every day and that kind of thing.
Okay. So let's just kind
of
not
having the time, basically.
Okay, perfect. So if you guys watch that video that I posted at the top of the chat thread, I talk about the questions that I ask, all the questions that I ask in my phone call with a prospect that says they're interested. So basically I'm walking through and asking them questions. Like Jared, for example, I'm asking them, can you make the time to do 4 30-minute to 40-minute workouts a week? Yes or no? If they tell me no, like I'm like, hey, when you feel that you could fit it in, I think this would be a good option for you. Like I don't try to commit. But here's the thing. When I go through that with them, almost all the time they say yes. So I'm very clear on when I'm talking with a prospect, going through these questions with them. And I also build a ton of value. So what I want you guys to know is you build value in a phone call, but also value is built over time through your social media posts and through seeing you change and transform. So if you're a new coach for only a month or 2 months, sometimes there's not enough value being built up yet. They haven't seen enough. Like I have a ton of value built up because people have seen, like I've broken a collarbone, I've torn 2 biceps. Like I've gone through all these things and continued to show up. So people that follow me know, like on top of paying $170 for a Lift 4 Shakeology Beachbody On Demand Challenge Pack, they know that I'm going to be there no matter what, because they can look at my Instagram, my YouTube channel, my Facebook, and see that I've been there forever. Like I've always shown up. When I travel, I'm there. When I'm in a different state, I'm there. When I have a broken collarbone, I'm still there, coaching and encouraging and supporting people. So that's value built up over time. And you don't need 7 years to do that. Even 3, 4, 5 months is going to show people that you're there. Because in all reality, when someone looks at this type of business, they're like, or fitness, they're used to the yo-yo diet type thing. They're like, Felicia's she's going to do this for a few months and then she's going to try something else. And then, so they want to see you stay consistent over time. So that builds value. So understand that as well. And then also I share stories to build value. One thing, like what I did a prospect call the other day, she doesn't have money right now. She's like, when we got to the end, she's like, I'm all in. I want to do this. I went through the price. She's like, I can't do that right now. And I said, that's totally okay. When do you think you can do it by? And she said, well, this just came up. I need about a month. to gather that money. And I said, okay, perfect. I'll be running a group every single month. Do you need help with ideas on coming up? How? And I also related with her. I was like, you know what's crazy? This is what I said to her. I was like, you know what's crazy, Vera? Is that it's the same thing for me. When I decided I wanted to do it, I couldn't do it that day. I had to go sell my Xbox and my Wii. And then I used that money and I bought my Shakeology. So I can understand 100%. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Would you like me to follow up with you every week until that date starts? Or do you want to reach out to me when you have questions? She said, oh yeah, feel free to reach out to me. So meeting them where they're at also, and just addressing the objection head on and say, okay, you tell me, Jared, that you want to lose 50 pounds. And like, I understand if you don't have the $170, I was the same way. I tell my story. And then I ask them, what's a solution? How long is it going to take you to be able to budget that or to figure out how to make this happen? Because you've told me that losing 50 pounds is important. So what can you do to do that? How can I help you budget? How can I help you find that time? Or if it's time for, I don't have time to do 30-minute workouts, do the same thing. How do you coach them? How do you use your time right now? Where's your time at? And if they're like, well, I go to work at 7, I get home at this time, then teach them that show them how they could get up 30 minutes earlier,
Hey, Scotty.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you had a link with some questions that you asked on this call. I haven't seen that.
That's the very first one in the chat. It's in that big training that's an hour and a half long.
Oh, the hour and a half on the...
Yep. It's in the section of the video where I talk about how I do a phone call. It goes through the questions that I ask people.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Next, continually add value. And we're going to end this on the hour. I could go for 2 hours, but I have other appointments. So build value over time. Another way that I'm building a ton of value is on my Instagram stories. Every time that I see someone in the team, and realize if you guys are just starting and you don't have challenger success stories yet, I'm looking at Eric, you're brand new as of this week. You don't have a challenger with a success story right now, and you start using Instagram stories like I teach on that training. If you see in the team page someone post their progress pictures, just say, hey, check out someone from the team that's doing this test group, how much they've lost in the past 6 weeks, right? What that does is that's creating value. You're sharing stories, and that creates value, shows people that this works over time. So use the team, use transformations in the team, use success stories in the team. Let's say, I didn't sponsor Felicia. I met Felicia at Summit, but let's say Felicia shares a Beachbody financial success, something that she's done with her business. What I would do is I would write Felicia and say, hey, I love how you just shared how this helped. I'm just making this up. How this business helped you, 5 kids like us, right? How this business helped you buy school supplies for all of your kids for school, right? Let's say she wrote a post. I would write her, hey, could I share that on my Instagram stories? Or could I share that on my social media? And by sharing that, you're educating people and sharing how this business opportunity works. And you're sharing different stories that are going to connect with different people that are in your network and watching you. So that works. Let's see. I'll go through it. We got 5 minutes. Let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, Lindsay did a trade show and it helped her connect with people. Michael McGuire, that link on how to link all your social media together is basically on that hour and a half long training. So watch that. Eric says that's the #1 response. Well, I want to see if you can make money first. They want to see you start making good money before they believe in the business. So let's just address that one, because my cousin's wife, Hannah, my cousin's name is Kendall. His wife is Hannah. She just signed up. She just sponsored her 3rd coach, and she signed up about a week and a half ago. And she was talking to one of her mission companions, who's a very good friend of hers, and that was her objection. She's like, I want to do it, but I want to see if it works for you first. And so I talked to Hannah on the phone. I was like, this is one of your best friends, okay? So I would just have a real life, candid conversation with your best friend and just say, hey, if this was me talking to let's say I'm looking at Eric, and let's say Eric's a good friend from high school, and he's like, dude, I just want to see if this works for you first. what I would say to Eric is I would be on the phone with Eric and be like, hey, Eric, here's the reality of it. It's not going to work until I help my first person. And you're like someone that I trust, someone that's a good friend. Like, let's transform you. If you don't want to join the business yet, I'm okay with that. Well, let's transform your health and fitness. You can be one of my first success stories. And I would just be very like, I can't make this business work until I sell my first product, like until I help somebody transform their life. So that's what I told Hannah. And that coach went on to become a coach because she had that conversation with her. She says, hey, I can't show you this works until I help some people first. And you're like my best friend. So who better to help than my best friend? And so I do that. And then the other thing that helps with that as well is I just share other stories. And so like I share, hey, like I'm brand new. Like I remember when I first started, I told my coach's story to everybody. I even tell my coach's story today, even though I have my own success. So I would be like, hey, you know, you can see I've lost 38 pounds. The programs work. If you follow the meal plan and you follow the workouts, you can transform. You've seen that work in me. That works. Okay. Now here's the cool thing. My coach went through a transformation similar to me. She lost 30 pounds after she had her baby. And here's the cool, she started helping people just like she's helped me. And she was able to walk away from bartending, and she's slowly paying off the couple $100,000 worth of medical debt that she incurred when London was born prematurely. And I said, hey, if she can do that, she can help me transform by being my coach, and she's making money by doing that. I know that I can do it as well. And here's the thing, Beachbody, every single Monday, they do a national wake-up call. These are people that have built a thriving six-figure business. And if all of these people can do it, I can do it too. And you can do it too. So I just share, Eric, what I would do is just share success stories of coaches that are doing it on this team. So have that candid conversation with them. I can't show you it works until I help my first person. And who better to help than you as the best friend? So that's a way that I would start it as well. And then share stories from the team of people that are transforming. If you look at our Dynasty Strong team page, there's a pinned post at the top. How has Beachbody transformed your life? Share your story. There's like 40 different stories on there right now of people who have shared how Beachbody coaching has transformed their life. And it's not always financial. Some of it's for the community, some of it's for their mindset, some of it's for their health and fitness, and some of it is financial. So I encourage you guys to read those stories because there's a whole arsenal of stories you can share with people. And I also encourage you, if you haven't commented on that with your story, add your story to that, how this business has blessed you financially, spiritually, physically, mentally, so that we can continue building that so that people that are brand new like Eric can show their friends all of these stories so that story can relate with them. And one of the best ways that I've found is when you're talking with a prospect, you need to know exactly what they want out of life, whether it's with this business, financially, or the community, or having a purpose, or needing someone to talk to, or a community or a tribe. Find out what they need and then share a story that connects exactly with what they need. Because like my story is not always going to relate with my prospect. So I'm continually sharing Brigida's story, or I'm sharing Jennifer's story, or I'm sharing Heather College's story. You know, because hers is much different than me. She was a nurse. She was a personal trainer. Like she loved helping people in those aspects and just wanted a bigger platform to do it without the constraints of having a boss or having to leave the home and leave the kids to do that. So Beachbody was a perfect fit for her because she could do that from home. So if I have somebody that already loves those things, like their story is not going to relate to mine on how I got started, but they might relate to that. So the more stories that you learn, it's going to add to your, we call it arsenal of connecting these stories with your prospects so that they can relate on how this business will help them. So anyhow, guys, I do have a prospect call that I need to get on. So I need to let you guys go, but this was great. I love chatting with you guys and being able to answer your questions. So we'll see you guys later. This is recorded. So if there's any